You know, when thinking about or talking about potential Laker trade partners, we unfortunately tend to think about the ones that either won't trade with them, likely won't trade with them again, or simply won't try to trade fairly with them, of which there tend to be a number of. I mean, for ones that probably won't trade with them again, we got both the Charlotte Hornets and the Dallas Mavericks, following the Luka Doncic trade in which the general manager for the Mavericks, Nico Harrison, obviously did not come away with what the fans wanted and not too happy about that, despite them now getting the number 1 pick, which definitely will help his cause. Or then the Charlotte Hornets, obviously the failed Mark Williams trade, and they both denied the fact that he was hurt. The Lakers didn't like what they found with Mark Williams, and that's a whole bunch of controversy and likely a feud between them that would maybe lead to them not making another trade again. Or then for even a team like Portland, for example, I'm not sure the Lakers have ever made a trade with them. If they have, it has not been very many. Or then for a team like Utah, yes, they helped them with the Russell Westbrook trade, and I wouldn't directly point to them as a bad trade partner, but they do have Danny Ainge, which led to them not being able to make a trade last season, as the Lakers were apparently interested in Walker Kessler. So with that in mind here, apart from all the bad trade targets or teams that won't trade with them or won't trade with them fairly, how about a team that has traded with them, likely has what they want and could be a good potential trade partner for them this summer, that being the Brooklyn Nets. In my opinion, they are probably one of, if not the best trade partner for the Lakers this summer. Not only have they made a trade recently and actually made a very beneficial trade for both parties, but they have exactly what the Lakers need and apparently what they want on their team too. I mean, first of all, they have 3 different players that the Lakers have been individually linked to through a trade or have interest in making a trade for. Number 1 being Nic Claxton, linked to him pretty much throughout the entire past year now. Apparently during the trade deadline they thought about trading for him or maybe contacted the Nets about trading for him. And the rumors are once again running rampant about Nic Claxton and the LA Lakers. But not only Claxton, but also a guy like Cam Johnson, another guy the Lakers have been linked to in pretty much throughout the entire past year now, and for good reason too. Definitely could be a good fit for them, and we'll talk more about that in a bit here. But last but not least, even a third player they've been linked to on the Brooklyn Nets, albeit currently a free agent, that being Sharpe, a 23-year-old center that could add a different element to their team that they really don't have right now. And even apart from that, like I kind of referred to before, they really have exactly what the Lakers need. Number 1, a young athletic rim protecting center that can be a lob threat, that of course being Nic Claxton, very athletic big man, great rim protector, former top 10 finisher of the year in Defensive Player of the Year voting, and not to mention a very switchable defender, can legitimately switch 1 through 5 at 6'11", and that's very uncommon for a center, and then on top of that, only just turned 26 years old this week. And then for Cameron Johnson, a big 3-and-D wing and one that's better on defense than Rui Hachimura, while being better offensively than Hachimura. So between that, could be an upgrade for their team and upgrade for their starting lineup, so he definitely would be a good trade target for their team and pretty much any other team for that fact. And then last but not least, Sharpe, that enforcer kind of big that they really don't have like I said, is only 23, quietly one of the best rebounders in the entire NBA, kind of a mini Andre Drummond, like I often referred to him as, and not many can simply match what he can do in regard to physicality and strength around the rim. So between all of that, they have pretty much exactly what the Lakers need and pretty much at every spot on their team. Number 1 being their biggest need, that being a center. Between both Nic Claxton and Sharpe, they can offer the Lakers team quite a bit. And then for the cherry on top, that big 3-and-D wing that can both be an upgrade over Rui Hachimura and simply a better fit for the rotation, not even compared to just Rui, but pretty much anybody in the rotation not named Luka or LeBron, that would be an upgrade on the wing for them. So, with all of that in mind here, how could the Lakers, or how should the Lakers approach a trade with them? Should they try to trade for 1, 2, or even all 3 of them? And which of them should they prioritize if they can make a trade for them, and what would the price look like? We'll break it all down here. So beginning with the trade for Nic Claxton, I've talked about this one before, and although you can make it in a few different ways, I think the most ideal way to make it is simply trading the Lakers' expiring contracts, both of Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber, then with their tradable 2031 first-round draft pick. Yes, their last tradable first-round draft pick, but for their biggest need and for a great fit like Nic Claxton, I think it would be worth it. And if that could help them keep both Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves in the same trade, not to mention Dalton Knecht probably as well, I think they could probably fight for that, then I definitely would make that kind of trade. Simply trade Vincent Kleba, then another small salary like Shake Milton to a third team, maybe a team like Washington who also has been a good trade partner with them, and that might be enough to get Nic Claxton, who again, in my opinion, is a great fit for their team, would give them that center option, is a great fit on both ends of the court, defensively, offering rim protection and switchable defense, giving them a big time scheme upgrade on defense and a pretty good fit for JJ Redick. Then offensively, definitely a great lob threat for Luka Doncic, and we know how he loves to play with that kind of archetype. Great pick and roll partner, can't really be a pick and pop partner unfortunately, but that's only the one main drawback with him, at least offensively. But to make up for it, he's actually pretty uniquely talented in the fact that he can put the ball on the floor and attack the rim or even bring the ball up the floor following a rebound, so that would give their offense a different element, something they don't have with Jackson Hayes and really have not had in a big man since Anthony Davis, or pretty much in the past half decade other than Anthony Davis, so I think Claxton would be a pretty good fit for them on both ends of the court. Then for Cam Johnson, definitely not as big of a need for their team or wouldn't feel as big of a need, but would also be a pretty damn good fit in my opinion. Like I said, that big 3-and-D wing and probably a better fit than Rui Hachimura, which is actually saying a lot as I think Rui is a decent fit, albeit not a perfect fit. Offensively, is a similarly if not even better 3-point shooter, and I would say that he is better given that he is a higher volume 3-point shooter, albeit slightly less efficient, but with 3 to 4 more 3-point shots per game, then I'll definitely take about 0.2% less efficiency. On his career, is a 39.2% career 3-point shooter, not to mention for the corner even being better than that, being a 44.1% corner 3-point shooter, last season at 44.8%, the season before that one at 46.2%, so pretty much a dead-eye knockdown corner 3-point shooter, and that would work great with guys like Luka and LeBron. Or even apart from that, is a talented third or fourth scoring option, averaging 18.8 points per game last season, a career high for him, averaging about 13 per game on his career, and that's probably what it would come out to with their team, being that fourth or fifth option, giving them production on pretty much every night, 10 to 20 points per night, and some reliable, efficient offense no matter what. And for a trade for him, you could go a few different ways about it, but I think the one that would unfortunately make the most sense would be trading Rui Hachimura. After all, to even get Cameron Johnson and what the Nets want for him, it has been equivalent to about 2 to 3 first-round draft picks. So to even get him, would have to trade Rui Hachimura, who is kind of equivalent to 1 first-round draft pick in my opinion, especially with the expiring contract, then trade their 2031 first-round draft pick, giving the Nets what they want in terms of draft compensation, 2 first-round draft picks, kind of in a way, for Cameron Johnson, and then additionally, Rui Hachimura being a slightly young player yet, could fetch them either draft compensation or be part of a short-term rebuild with their team, whatever route they want to take. Then finally, to make the money work, simply trade a guy like Shake Milton to a third team, like Washington wants to get here, with Brooklyn sending a protected or second-round pick swap to simply make it make sense overall. Or then for a different route, could maybe try and go the expiring contract route. I'm not sure if Brooklyn would take that, but could offer them Maxi Kleber and Gabe Vincent, with the additional salary of combination of guys like Shake Milton, maybe have to throw in Dalton Knecht and probably would have to throw him in here, then their 2031 first-round draft pick and hopefully get Cameron Johnson, although I'm not sure that would be enough here. Again, they do want 2 to 3 first-round draft picks for him, and I'm not sure that would be quite what they're looking for. But overall, would potentially look at a Cam Johnson trade. I think he'd be a great fit and a definite upgrade for their rotation, and would be a great fit for their team overall in my opinion. And then finally for Day'Ron Sharpe, does happen to be a restricted free agent, so any trade for him would have to be a sign and trade. Not impossible, but definitely a bit more difficult. That means they would have to offer him something that Brooklyn would not want to match, and probably being a 3-year contract worth roughly 20 to 25 million, or a 4-year contract worth roughly 25 to 30, up to 35 million. At that point, Brooklyn probably wouldn't match it, but would it actually be worth it? I'm not entirely sure. I like Day'Ron Sharpe, but it would be a little bit more to offer him and might be taking a little bit of a risk here. But via the sign and trade, not only the contract, but then having to dish out a little bit of salary to stay under that first apron, which a sign and trade would require them to do. So overall, definitely a bit more complicated for Day'Ron Sharpe, but for the right price and at the right time in free agency, I would not completely rule it out. However, definitely wouldn't put him in the same kind of block compared to Nic Claxton or Cam Johnson when it came to making a trade for them and putting them at the top of their priority list. Definitely think they're all three great fits and guys they have been linked to again, but I definitely number it in the order of number 1 Nic Claxton, both in regard to a fit and what they should give up for him through a trade and how they should prioritize him. Then number 2 being Cam Johnson, maybe potentially trying to trade for both of them, but that would be quite a bit. And quick side note, yes, that probably would have to include either Rui Hachimura or Austin Reeves and maybe even both of them in the same trade, so I'm probably not looking to do that. And then finally for number 3, that of course being Day'Ron Sharpe. But between what Brooklyn has to offer, their workability with the Lakers through a trade and them being a good trade partner and not to mention a recent trade partner, like I said, made a trade back in December for Dorian Finney-Smith, the Lakers seem to be happy with that trade, and the Nets seem to be happy with that trade too. And then having what the Lakers need on their team, again being a center, potentially a big 3-and-D wing, and the good fits that would theoretically fit really well on their team, I think the Nets are a no-brainer trade partner and the team they should approach first this offseason if they have not already. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Brooklyn Nets as a trade partner for the Lakers, and would you name them their top trade partner this offseason? Or if not, what team would you call their top trade partner or potential trade partner? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.